Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to another episode of English in the Air. I'm your host, Emma, and I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us today for a conversation that I think we can all relate to. Today, we are diving deep into the world of TV shows and series, the stories that keep us up late and the characters we feel like we actually know. Joining me today is my good friend and fellow TV addict, Jake. How are you doing today, Jake?
I'm doing great, Emma, though I have to admit I'm a little tired. I stayed up way too late last night because I told myself just one more episode of this new crime thriller I'm watching. It's a dangerous game to play on a weeknight, isn't it? I'm pretty sure I have the Netflix glare in my eyes today.
Oh, we have all been there. That just one more episode lie is probably the most common lie in the world. But that's exactly what we're talking about today. How these shows entertain us, bring us together, and unexpectedly become powerful tools for learning English. It's amazing how a story can make you forget you're actually studying.
It really is. When you're invested in the plot, your brain just starts soaking up the language naturally. I think it's because we actually want to understand what's happening, so we listen much more closely than we would to a boring textbook recording.
Exactly. It's all about engagement. But before we get into the learning side, I want to know about your tastes, Jake. When you sit down on the sofa and pick up the remote, what is the first genre you usually look for? Are you a fan of comedies, or do you prefer something more serious?
You know, I'm a total sucker for a good sitcom. There's something so comforting about a show where you know the characters and the setting so well. It's like visiting old friends. But lately, I've been getting more into historical dramas. You know, the ones with the big costumes and the complicated family secrets.
I know exactly the ones you mean. There's something very grand about those shows. For me, it's always been about crime series and medical dramas. I love the fast pace and the mystery of trying to solve the case before the characters do. It keeps my brain active, even when I'm relaxing.
I can see that. But don't you find crime shows a bit stressful after a long day at work? Sometimes I just want to watch something where the biggest problem is a character's messy love life. That's why reality shows are so popular, I think. It's pure escapism.
That's a fair point. Sometimes you just want to turn your brain off. But what about documentaries? I've found that many English learners love documentaries because the narration is usually very clear and the vocabulary is quite specific to a topic they might be interested in.
Oh, definitely. I watched a documentary series about space last month, and I learned so many new words about the universe. It's great because the visuals help you understand the context, even if you don't know every single word the narrator is saying.
Visual context is key. It's the same reason we get so attached to fictional characters. We see their faces, their expressions, and their struggles over many episodes. Have you ever felt genuinely sad when a series ended, Jake? Like you were saying goodbye to real people?
Oh, absolutely. I remember when I finished that long-running fantasy show last year, I actually felt a bit empty for a few days. It sounds silly, but those characters had been part of my routine for months. You go on a journey with them, and then suddenly it's over.
It's not silly at all. It's called a post-series depression in some circles. We invest our emotions into these stories. That emotional connection is actually a huge part of why TV is great for English. When you care about a character, you remember what they say much better.
That's so true. I still remember quotes from shows I watched 10 years ago because the scene was so emotional. It's like the language gets anchored to the feeling. Do you have a comfort show that you rewatch when you're feeling stressed, Emma?
I definitely do. Whenever I'm having a rough week, I go back to an old sitcom from the 90s. I've seen every episode at least 5 times, so I don't have to focus too hard. It's like a warm blanket for my brain. What about you?
For me, it's a specific animated series. It's funny, lighthearted, and always makes me laugh, no matter how many times I've seen it. Plus, it's interesting to notice how my own understanding of the jokes has improved over the years as my English got better.
That is such a rewarding feeling, isn't it? Realizing you caught a joke that you missed the first time. But we have to talk about the habit that everyone is guilty of, binge watching. Are you a one episode a week person or a whole season in a weekend person?
Oh, I am definitely a binger. If I like a show, I cannot wait. I need to know what happens next immediately. The problem is that modern shows are designed for this. They always end on a moment that makes it impossible to stop.
The dreaded cliffhanger. They are masters of suspense. I find myself saying, I'll just watch the first 5 minutes of the next one. And then suddenly, I've watched 40 more minutes, and it's midnight. It's a total loss of track of time.
And then the next morning, you're at the coffee machine at work trying to keep your eyes open. But honestly, I think waiting for a new season is almost worse. You finish a great show and then find out the next season doesn't come out for 2 years.
That is the absolute worst. It's like a test of patience. But in the meantime, that's usually when I start asking friends for recommendations. It's such a great conversation starter. Have you seen anything good lately? Is probably my most used phrase.
Mine too. It's a universal topic. It doesn't matter where you're from. Everyone has a favorite show. For English learners, asking for recommendations is a perfect way to practice speaking naturally. It's a topic everyone feels comfortable talking about.
It really is. And it's a great way to build fluency because you're describing plots, characters, and your own opinions. Speaking of which, I think we should take a little break from our chat to look at some specific vocabulary that we use when we talk about TV.
Great idea. I think I've already used a few of these words today. Let's help our listeners understand them better. What's the first one on the list, Emma?
The first word is binge watch.
Binge watch. That sounds like exactly what I did last night.
Exactly. To binge watch means to watch several episodes of a television program in a short period of time, usually one after another. Jake, can you give us an example sentence?
Sure. My sister and I decided to binge watch the entire series over the long holiday weekend.
Perfect. Here's another. I often binge watch shows on rainy Sundays when I don't want to go outside. Now, let's practice the pronunciation together. Everyone, repeat after me. Binge watch. Binge watch. Binge watch. Binge watch. Binge watch.
It's such a common word these days. Okay, what is word number 2?
Word number 2 is cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger? Like when someone is literally hanging off a cliff at the end of an episode?
Originally, yes. But now it means any dramatic and exciting ending to an episode that leaves the audience in suspense. Jake, how would you use it in a sentence?
I'd say the first season ended on such a massive cliffhanger that fans were talking about it for months.
Great one. My example is, I hate it when a show ends on a cliffhanger and then the series gets canceled. Okay, let's practice. Cliffhanger. 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 Cliffhanger.
That really is the worst feeling for a fan. What's the third word, Emma?
The third word is plot twist.
This is what makes a show really exciting, right?
Exactly. A plot twist is an unexpected development in a story. It's a surprise that changes everything. Jake, your example?
I never expected that character to be the secret villain. It was such a brilliant plot twist.
Love it. Mine is, a good plot twist should be surprising, but also make sense when you look back at the clues. Let's repeat. Plot twist, plot twist, plot twist, plot twist, plot twist.
I always try to guess them, but I'm usually wrong. What's the fourth word?
Number 4 is relatable.
Relatable. We use this a lot when talking about characters, don't we?
We do. If something or someone is relatable,
It means you can understand them or feel a connection to them because they are similar to you. Jake?
The reason the show is so popular is that the characters' daily struggles are very relatable to young professionals.
Spot on. My example, even though it's a fantasy show, the family dynamics are very relatable. Let's practice. Relatable. 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 Relatable.
It's so important for a show to have relatable characters. What's word number 5?
Captivating.
Captivating. That's a very strong, positive word.
It is. It means holding your attention completely. It's something incredibly interesting or fascinating. Jake, give us an example.
The lead actress gave such a captivating performance that I couldn't look away from the screen.
Beautiful. My example? The documentary featured captivating footage of rare animals in the wild. Let's repeat. Captivating. 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 Captivating.
And the final word for today? This is one that people are very careful about online.
You're right. The last word is spoiler.
Spoiler! The thing that ruins all the fun.
Exactly. A spoiler is information about a plot or ending that spoils the surprise for someone who hasn't seen it yet. Jake?
I had to stay off social media all day because I didn't want to see any spoilers for the finale.
I do that too. My example, please don't tell me the ending. I don't want any spoilers. Let's repeat one last time. Spoiler, 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 spoiler.
Those are such useful words for any conversation about TV or movies. I hope our listeners find them helpful next time they're talking about their favorite series.
I'm sure they will. Now, Jake, let's move on to something that I think will really help our intermediate learners level up their speaking. Sometimes we use very simple sentences because they are safe, but we can make them sound much more natural.
You're talking about our Say It Better segment. I'm ready. What's the first simple sentence you have for me?
Okay, here's a common one. I like TV shows.
That's fine, but to sound more like a natural speaker, you could say, I'm a huge fan of TV series because they're a great way to unwind after a long day.
Unwind. I love that word. It sounds much more sophisticated. Okay, how about this? The ending was surprising.
Let's use our new vocabulary. You could say, the finale featured a completely unexpected plot twist that left me totally shocked.
That definitely sounds more like something an IELTS candidate would say to get a higher score. What about, I watch TV a lot?
Instead of a lot, try, I tend to binge watch my favorite shows on the weekends when I have more free time. Using tend to makes it sound more natural.
Great point. Tend to is a very common way to describe habits. How about this one? The characters are good.
That's a bit basic. Try, the characters are so well developed and relatable that you really start to care about their journey.
Much better. And finally, if someone asks why you watch shows in English, you might say, I learn English with TV.
To say it better, you could say, watching series in English really helps me pick up natural expressions and improve my listening comprehension in an enjoyable way.
I love those improvements. It's all about adding a bit more detail and using more descriptive verbs. It makes the conversation feel much more alive, don't you think?
Definitely. And that last point is so important. Watching TV isn't just studying, it's exposure. You hear how people connect their words, you hear the rhythm of the language, and you hear the slang that people actually use.
Exactly. It helps with pronunciation awareness, too. You start to notice how native speakers don't always pronounce every single letter and how their intonation changes when they're happy, angry, or surprised.
That's true. You can't really get that from reading a book. You need to hear it and see it happening in a scene. It gives the language color.
Plus, it builds so much confidence when you can follow a story without checking the dictionary every minute.
That confidence is everything. I always tell my students that if they can enjoy a 20-minute sitcom in English, they are doing much better than they think. It's a huge milestone in language learning.
It really is. And for those worried about the difficulty, there are so many options now. You can start with shows aimed at a younger audience, or shows you've already seen in your own language. There's no wrong way to do it, as long as you're enjoying it.
That's the most important advice. Enjoy it. If you're bored, you won't learn. Find a genre you love. Find characters you care about, and let the English language come to you through the story.
I couldn't agree more. And honestly, it's such a great feeling when you can finally understand a joke or a fast-paced conversation. It makes all the hard study sessions feel worth it.
It really does. Well, Jake, we're coming to the end of our time today. I've really enjoyed chatting with you about our shared obsession. It's reminded me that I have a few episodes waiting for me at home.
Me too. Though I'll try to be a bit more disciplined tonight and go to bed at a reasonable hour. No promises, though.
We'll see about that. Before we go, let's summarize. We've talked about different genres, the emotional bond we have with characters, the danger of binge-watching, and how TV is a fantastic, low-pressure way to improve your English.
And we've learned some great new words. Binge watch, cliffhanger, plot twist, relatable, captivating, and spoiler. I hope everyone tries to use at least one of these in their next English conversation.
That would be a great challenge. Listeners, we would love to hear from you. What is the one show you could watch over and over again? And has watching TV helped you with your English? Let us know.
I'm really curious to hear your recommendations. Maybe I'll find my next favorite show in the comments.
Remember, everyone, learning English doesn't always begin with textbooks. Sometimes it starts with one episode, one new expression, and one conversation that makes you smile.
And if a TV show can make you laugh, think, and learn at the same time, that's time well spent. Take care of yourselves and keep watching.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be back soon with another episode to help you on your English journey. Until then, happy watching.
Take care, keep learning, and enjoy your next great series. Bye.